Are there any additional items for the agenda? If not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
That's Tim Elke. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Scott Kaminsky. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Recognition of visitors and open forum. Nobody signed up to speak. Reports and presentations. We'll let Claire go first since we know you got to get running out of here, so.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Claire. We just started this leadership class this year, and we've read a couple books, and right now we're in the middle of this one about like restoring, well, this is about restoring sanity in the workplace, but like we're like in school, so just like different ways to like show your, let your leadership shine through. Yeah, we've just did a couple book talks on it, so we're not too far into it yet. But other than that, we just started basketball this week. The musical was last Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That went well. But yeah.
Yeah. You guys did a great job.
Thanks.
And yeah, we just started this class, and I actually really enjoyed doing it. I like working with Grant and Mr. Hansen a lot. I mean, I feel like I'm building a good relationship with him, and yeah, I feel like I'm learning a lot, becoming a better leader, and doing stuff like this, kind of breaking me out of my shell. I've never really done anything like this before, so it's interesting. And we just worked on the Veterans Day presentation, which I think went really well. We got speakers in, and breakfast went well, and yeah, I enjoyed doing this, so it's fun. It's nice to be here.
It's also cool, like me, Ian, Deacon, and Zach, we're all so different, and it's like we're all like working in different ways. It's kind of cool to see like everybody's different perspectives on different things. It's just interesting how like we're all so close in like so many different ways, but then so different once we like actually spend more time with each other, which I actually have enjoyed, gotten to know everybody a lot better and like how they see things, and it's cool. Yeah.
I agree.
How did you guys put on the drive-in movie?
Oh yeah, we
How'd
did
that
that. Was that Halloween weekend? The weekend before Halloween? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a pretty good turnout. The sound system didn't work as we really hoped it to, but I think it worked out for the majority of the time. We hooked it up to like a big speaker, and yeah.
Well, sometimes that's how you learn and
Yeah.
do it different next time then,
Yeah.
right? Good. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you, and you can head back to basketball
Okay,
practice.
thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yep.
All right. Any committee reports? We had the Student Success Committee, not the committee, but just the
board members met.
board members met afterwards, and that'll be, you're still working on that to set up a meeting for the committee coming up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other committee reports? I don't think we had anything else, right? All right, superintendent report.
Okay, so one thing that we've gotten some information on from MSBA lately is public comment procedure in school board meetings. So they did send us some language to, if we want to adopt specific language for it. I'll have that ready for our next study session. But one thing that they're talking about is making sure that we have in the policy that we're not recording the public forums. So they don't want the public forums recorded because it can cause some issues. There was some issues at a couple different school board meetings lately where they weren't following the proper procedure. The person trying to speak wasn't following the proper procedure and everything, so they want to try and eliminate that. So, I've been working on compiling all the information we need for the World's Best Workforce and the Student Success Committee. Doing all this while we're still waiting to hear back from the state on our ESSER $3. Hopefully they're supposed to be approved by December 1st. So those reports will be ready to be presented to the school board in the December study session, and then they have to be uploaded to the state by December 15th. so those will get completed then. We're also working through information that's been provided to us about the OSHA mandate for testing unvaccinated staff members. There's a lot that goes along with it. It's currently in litigation with the in the court system to find out if they can truly do this or not. So we're still planning, but we are also, we're planning, getting ready for it, informing our staff that this could happen, but we don't know firm dates yet. As of right now, if everything goes through, according to the documents, all non-vaccinated staff would have to start wearing masks on December 5th, and then they would have to be tested weekly starting January 4th. So, going further into that, a couple staff we've heard from about that is they're talking about this identifying them as unvaccinated if we're mandating that they have to wear masks, but the vaccinated staff doesn't. So that's something we have to discuss in our preparedness meeting tomorrow. There's a few other things to discuss in our preparedness meeting tomorrow also. Should we be requiring all people, staff, and students who have had COVID-19 to mask for 90 days following their positive test? And then, should we be allowing a shortened quarantine period for students who have been whether they've been isolated or not, where there's a positive case in a household? So we've had a couple different scenarios come up lately where positive case in a household, the child is isolated, test follows all of the proper procedures, tests negative on between day 5 and day 7, comes back on day 8, gets sent home sick on day 8, tests positive. So, and that's just one situation that we've had that has kind of sparked some of these questions. And so that's some COVID stuff that's the COVID stuff we're working on. Our calendar committee is getting ready to meet this week to set the next 3 school year calendars. We have a pre-bid walkthrough meeting on Thursday morning at 10 o'clock for our Windows project. Girls basketball started today. We have 24 girls registered, 9th through 12th grade. 15 girls registered 7th and 8th grade. Next week is when boys basketball and wrestling start. As of right now, we have 37 boys in grades 9 through 12 registered for boys basketball, 17 boys in 7th and 8th grade registered. We have 8 9 through 12 athletes registered for wrestling and 5 for 7th and 8th grade for wrestling. Mr. Lidke is also working on a fall awards ceremony. I think he said today that was going to be Tuesday, November 23rd at 7 o'clock in the auditorium. And then Mr. Lidke also sent out a different student athlete survey than what he's used in the past for fall activities. So that was good to see. I think it's the one that he sent out, looking at it, seems to be more measurable on a scale of 1 to 5. So the last thing is, yesterday I was able to take some time to drive up to Brainerd and watch Mr. Van Otterloo receive his Educator of Excellence Award from the Minnesota Rural Education Association. He was nominated by Katie Cahill, so thank you for that nomination. It was wonderful to see that. We do have a YouTube video of him receiving the award, and then he gives a speech at the end of it. I can send that out to the board if you'd like to see that.
Very cool. So just curious about the COVID one, the masking for all employees, that's an OSHA thing though, right? That's not anything we can make a decision on, right? Or is it?
With the, if following the positive cases,
No,
Which
the,
one?
the
Unvaccinated
unvaccinated.
staff.
the
staff.
unvaccinated is an OSHA, as part of their law,
Right.
if that's what we're supposed to call it.
The quarantining for 90 days?
No, no,
No.
no, talking
Yeah.
about the
The
unvaccinated.
unvaccinated.
Oh, I thought you meant,
But you were saying that if some employees
So-
brought it up to your
That-
attention, that then
That's-
everybody should be
That's
masked.
identifying them
Yes.
as unvaccinated.
not if they start wearing it before December 5th.
Right, and we do have some staff and students that are wearing masks now. But on December 5th, if there's a surge in people wearing masks, that would identify them. And that concern has been brought to my attention.
I just don't, if it's an OSHA requirement, I don't know.
We can go more strict and
You
say
say
all
Oh,
staff.
say
And
all
we could say
staff?
all
Yeah.
staff.
Oh,
I thought in that OSHA mandate that it said that it would be confidential. But then it's like, how can it be confidential if unvaccinated has to wear masks and
Yeah.
vaccinated doesn't?
Correct.
So then that's what staff's
right.
bringing up.
An example that was mentioned to me today was, for example, our paraprofessionals help kids come in and out of the building in the morning. So if one's not wearing a mask and the other one is, that's identifying one as being non-vaccinated and one being vaccinated.
Are you keeping any internal numbers of, what do they call it, of vaccinated people getting positives again? Do we keep that internally?
We don't keep it internally, but I could look back.
Yes.
We have a list of everything. It's a lot higher than people think.
Well, that's why they're all asking for masks. That might help justify it or not
Right.
justify it.
Right. So, but
So then to the 90-day one, where did that come from? The 90,
Yeah,
after you
that's
get
a
COVID,
stretch.
getting it for, I've never heard that one.
that's part of the OSHA thing also is.
It is?
Non-vaccinated have to wear a mask, whether they've had COVID in the last 90 days, but they do not have to test.
Oh, so only the unvaccinated have to wear their mask for 90 days after they test positive?
Yes,
They'd have to wear it all the time.
all the time.
Well, they have to wear
yes.
Well, they'd have to wear it all the time, yeah, whether they test positive or not, so I guess I don't get the 90-day thing.
I think
many
the
employees do we
90
have?
days part is coming from, you don't have to
Well over
test
100.
weekly. The OSHA mandate gives an exemption for weekly testing.
Oh.
After you've tested positive, you have 90 days where you don't have to test
Oh, but they'd
weekly.
still be wearing the mask anyway,
But,
so, yeah.
Yeah, they still say you need to wear a mask if you're unvaccinated, even if you've tested positive and have antibodies.
They just don't have to do the test weekly for that 90 days after,
Right.
got it.
I think ever since the vaccines have came out, everyone said if you're not vaccinated, you should mask.
They
And that
have,
was
They
a
have.
year ago.
That's
Mm-hmm.
the recommendation.
Right, so,
yep.
I mean, people choose the mask from day one and those choose not to. What's the difference?
Well,
You're not identifying yourself as not vaccinated, you could just want to mask yourself.
Right.
Right.
So it's not truly like labeling someone as not vaccinated.
I see both sides of it.
Oh, yeah, I
just
know, I do too.
wanted to make you aware that that was something that has.
You have
been
numbers,
brought.
how many staff members do we have that aren't vaccinated? Are we like 80%, 90% or something like that?
Yeah, it's a
Pretty
high percentage. I don't have the exact number. So.
High percentage that are.
That are vaccinated,
vaccinated.
yeah.
I think last spring it was 80 or 85%,
Okay.
but as an estimate, so
Okay.
I don't have exact numbers yet, so.
Hmm.
All right. Any other questions?
Oh, one more thing. Sorry, I forgot.
Oh, you're okay.
Working on submitting 2 grants to the American Legion in Elysian for new scoreboards in the high school gym that would have the side panels that have player numbers, points, fouls for all the games. It would have the ability to do shot clocks because that's in discussion at the high school league again. So I'll send that letter off tonight yet. And then also a second grant to the American Legion in Elysian for a new sound system in the high school gym, because ours is not doing well.
Wasn't it just put in 3 years ago?
4 years ago, and the warranty wore off in 3 years, and we're having issues.
Are those scoreboards for both gyms, or just?
Just the high school gym.
Why to the Elysian American Legion? I'm just wondering,
Because
because.
they do our gambling
They
here.
do the gambling at the Purple Goose.
Oh, they do
So
now?
they have to give so much money back to the
Okay.
community.
Yeah,
And
I just didn't know.
I've had a couple people say that they're looking for organizations,
Okay.
so
No,
I thought,
that's-
okay, why not?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
well, if they're doing the
absolutely.
gambling in our town,
Yes.
give some money back.
Yep.
Yep.
have to,
Yep.
Yeah, 30% has to come back.
Yeah. No, I didn't know they were doing the gambling thing, so that's why I was kinda wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Strategic plan report.
Strategic plan will be updated when we do the World's Best Workforce.
All right, budget information, enrollment update.
Enrollment is staying steady for us. So we did have one additional high schooler, so this is off by one. So it's
348.
348 in the high school, which makes it 675 overall K through 12.
What was the
And-
reason somebody came this late?
We just had somebody transfer in.
And we lost 2.
Last a few.
We lost a couple, but we had a family of 3 that transferred in.
that aren't on here yet,
Did we?
or
lose?
are accounted for, so we're down 3 total.
We're-
Well, 2, because he said 675.
Right, but then you
Yeah,
said
we're-
3 more came, so it's gonna bump this up.
Yes,
to
it
plus
should be.
to 678.
Should be 677. It should stay the same. We
Oh.
lost 3 and gained 3.
Oh, okay.
So,
Lost 3 to where, do you know?
I don't remember. There was a family that did some moving with some of their kids.
Do we still call most times when somebody leaves to see the reasoning?
Yes.
Just a question, Jeremy, did we get, any other information on the Madison Lake thing, or have?
The only thing I talked to Gary Lee at MSBA, and he said it's a non-starter. Don't take time to do it. And I said, okay, tell me what this would take if we were. He said you need to have the voters of the Mankato School District approve Madison Lake moving out. You have to have the voters in Madison Lake approve switching districts. And the voters of JWP would have to vote to accept those residents in. He says it's not
Yeah,
happened, except for one situation he talked about in Moorhead, where that surrounded another little town. Starts with a D, I can't remember it off the top of my head. And he said basically what they did is they traded land. So that the land that made up that city went to Moorhead, and then Moorhead gave them so much land. So, but he
Okay.
did say it was a non-starter.
yep, okay.
All right, historical cash balance, any questions on that? All right, if not, we'll move on to approval of the consent agenda. As always, anybody can pull anything out. Do we have any clarifying questions before we move forward? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
That's Tim Johnson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Burke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Old business. Final reading and approval of policies with substantial changes. can't remember, do we do these individually?
Yes.
Yes, okay, all right. Do we have any questions or comments on the first policy, 413?
The only thing I would say about this is, at our last board meeting, I think it was Tim Burke that mentioned the term protected class.
Yep.
Do we want a definition within the policy describing or telling us what the protected class is? MSBA sent me a note that said the term protected class covers individuals encompassed under one or more of the following: race, color, creed, religion, national origin, sex, age, marital status, familiar status, status with regards to public assistance, sexual orientation, and or disability. It does not include individuals who are not covered. So that, if they said if you wanted to, you could put that in there, but we didn't have to. So, I have no issue adding that in there if you'd like, but.
I'm fine, just as long as we have it in case somebody questioned it.
So you might want to have it in there, just so you don't have to remember where you put it if somebody does question it. I'd be fine adding it. So do we, I'll just make the motion then. I move to approve policy 413, harassment and violence, with the addition of the definition of protected class. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Katie Cahill. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Policy 524, any questions, comments? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve policy 524.
That's Tim Melky. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Burke. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Number 9, new business. Approved post-secondary enrollment contract with Riverland Community College. Any discussion on that before we move forward?
Has anything really changed with that from the previous years then?
No, it hasn't. Mr. Hanson, do you know if the price had went up?
Don't,
$221.87 right now.
I'm not sure that it did.
Just, this one is not a resolution, right? It's just the next one is? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
That's Tim Burke. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
That's Tim Johnson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. All right, 9B, approve resolution of governing board supporting Form A application to MSHSL Foundation. Do you have any discussion about that? Does I go with that, or is that just something different?
Does what go in?
The foundation grant information? Or is that, do we talk about that separate?
Well, that goes with it, that's just their website with
Yes,
information about it.
Yep, it's the website talking about the foundation.
Oh, okay. All right. Any questions or anything? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the governing board supporting Form A application for MSHSL.
That's Tim Elke. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Kendra Hain. And this one's a resolution.
Elke,
Yes.
Size,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Hain,
Yes.
Kaminsky,
Yes.
Cahill. Yes.
All right, motion carries 7-0. Okay, number 10, resolution accepting donations with many thanks. I will read off the donations. We have a donation of $300 for FFA from the Bulldog Backers. Another donation for $750 to the class of 2001 scholarship from Amy and Brian Joyce. And then a $300 donation to FFA from Syngenta. Do we have a motion?
I make motion to approve resolution accepting donations with many thanks.
That's Scott Kaminsky. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Tim Burke. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Well, it's a
Oh,
resolution.
sorry,
That's
yep,
right.
yep, you're right.
Hain,
Yes.
Elke,
Yes.
Size,
Yes,
Burke,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Cahill. Yes. Kaminsky.
Yes.
all right, motion carries 7-0. Number 11, upcoming meetings, November 29th, joint meeting with the city council at 7 PM. We're still working on that, so we'll let you know if that still is happening. And then December 6th, the study session and truth and taxation meeting.